All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got one hell of a show for you today. The man, the myth, the legend, Arthur Hayes says we are right around the corner from the biggest bull run the world has ever seen, not just in the crypto market, but the traditional markets as well. In this video, we're gonna go into the interview with Arthur Hayes at Token 2049, his opinions with Rand Neuner. I spoke to Rand Neuner as well, the controversial discussion that I had with him, as well as how you play your cards in this, guys. And I've been talking about this for a while. If you're new to the show, welcome. My name is Kyle Chasse. I've been in crypto for 12 years, and I'm here to share my knowledge and experience with you. And if you like the video, just do me a favor. Like the video, smash that like button. But I have been talking about this for a while. I've been talking about the fact that we are going to see massive quantitative easing, massive bull runs, and something will collapse. One, to set that into motion. Two, to keep that whole thing come collapsing down. So let's get into it, guys. The first thing I'm gonna do is share this video of Rand and Arthur at Token 2049.
Arthur Hayes, and wow, his talk blew everyone away. You started off a talk about why we're about to see the biggest bull market we've ever seen, not only in crypto, but actually in traditional markets as well. So maybe that's a good place to start.
Sure, so I think the Fed and other central banks since the end of World War II have been on this Keynesian journey, right? And every time there's been a disturbance in the markets, they've decided to spend government money and then print it to fill the difference. And when there's a financial crisis because of credit and animal spirits, the Fed and other central banks destroy free markets in every part of the financial services sector. So we've gotten to this point where there is no more free markets, except for possibly the government debt markets, because they're so big and so important, it's very, very hard to control them. But however, debt to GDP globally is about 360%, and it's accelerating at an exponential rate. We're not having enough kids to grow into this debt. We're not becoming more productive in terms of harnessing the energy of the universe to do productive things. And so therefore, we're gonna have to print money to make sure the banking system and not only the governments are sound. And it's gonna be—
You're gonna print money until something breaks.
Until we no longer have faith in this iteration of civilization and the global government bond markets.
Okay, so this is really important, guys. So basically what Arthur has been saying here is that, we have massive, massive debt. And let's take a look at this. So here's the US national debt clock. And you might think that this is, if you didn't see this headline, you might see this is Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk's wallet and how fast it's growing. No, but that is the US national debt. So we're at $33 trillion at the moment. The global national debt is $307 trillion, and the GDP to debt ratio is at 336%, meaning that for every dollar that we make, we have $3.36 of debt. So there's just no way. There's just no way that we're actually going to be able to pay back any of this. And this is going to cause, the massive collapse in the financial system. So basically, this problem happens when interest payments globally exceed the amount of capital available. That's when they turn on the money printers. So I've been talking about this for a while, guys. We've been covering this. And so essentially, another thing Arthur Hayes said is that essentially when you have two things colliding, either exponential incredible technology or a financial liquidity crisis, if those two things happen all at the same time, we'll have the biggest bull run you've ever seen. And he goes into in the interview, and we're not going to play it, but if you want to go watch it, you can watch it. He goes into how AI is going to help lead in this next bull run, as well as this is a massive global shift in productivity and the ability to bring in capital, increase GDP, increase revenues, things like that. And he says that before we've had bull runs, one because of a massive increase in technology, and we've also had one because of liquidity crisis, like the COVID thing where we had massive, influx of stimulus payments. You guys remember this whole thing where every American had $1,200, and they also gave some stimulus globally, and then they gave some other checks as well. That actually boosted and created our 2021 bull market, right? So what I've been saying for a while here, and you guys can go back, I'll link the video in the description below. The video was titled that I made like almost a year ago, I think, was, the end of the US dollar. And I don't think that's, what I believe is going to happen here. And at the end, you would hear Arthur Hayes saying that, this cycle of, spending government money and then filling that gap by printing more money will continue until essentially giving up the current economic situation, right? Or economic policies and monetary fiscal policies. And in that video that I made, I talked about the end of the US dollar, and I said, what's going to be happening moving forward is that we're going to go through a period of quantitative tightening, which we've been doing. And then something's going to break, which is what everyone is talking about when you look on crypto Twitter and the timeline, and you hear about someone saying there's going to be a black swan, or we're still going to have one more pullback before we go into this bull run. And we've also heard the Fed say things before in interviews where, you know, they're going to keep raising rates until something breaks, and at that point, they're going to fix it by all means possible, aka turning on the money printer. So there is a good chance that we do see some sort of additional pullback. And if that does happen, I expect to see it happen before November. So that we're talking about like in the next 5 or 6 weeks. If it does happen, the closer we get to November, the less likely I believe it is to happen. Why? Because we have the presidential primaries coming up in November, and this is where the economy needs to look very strong. So Joe Biden, who wants to be reelected, has a chance of being reelected. As the current sitting president and administration, he must have a strong economy to garner in some confidence, and he needs all the confidence he can get, believe me. Then he's going to have a good economy. So if something breaks, immediately money printers will be turned back on, and they need to fix that. And we need to go into a bull market where he can say we have a very strong economy and the stocks are up. He doesn't really care about crypto too much, but that is a direct result of the money printing, as we saw, flows into crypto. Furthermore, we have all the infrastructure set up. We give you news on this channel all the time about all the different major institutions and countries that are getting into Bitcoin, setting up the infrastructure to facilitate it for their customers and things like that. So, Arthur says that this is going to be the largest bull run that we've ever seen, followed with the biggest crash that we've ever seen. Now, in my video that I keep referencing to, I also talk about this, right? I say that essentially what's going to happen, because we can't keep printing money into infinity. We will go into we saw what happens with the last money printing, how inflation went and got out of hand. And that was scary. A lot of people got scared, and you're still dealing with the cost of increased price of goods and increased inflation where your wage isn't keeping up, and it's putting a lot of people in trouble. They're having problems paying for their rent and for their food and trying to decide, if they can, afford basic necessities at the moment. So when we print massive amounts of money, yes, it makes the economy appear good, and people have there's a lot of money and new liquidity that comes in. The stock markets crank, the crypto markets crank. Everyone's making a lot of money. We're all happy. And then they need to turn that off at some point and then go back into the quantitative tightening. Now, as Arthur Hayes said, and as I said in the video as well, again, a year ago almost, you guys definitely have to go watch it, is that this will lead to a massive, massive collapse. And in my opinion, this will be that moment that Arthur talked about, where it's the end of the trust in the global economy, the global financial system. And when people will be feeling the pain of this collapse, you will start to see the rollout, the full implementation of the central bank digital dollars and digital currencies around the world, specifically in America. And you need a crisis to implement something so dramatic, because right now, when CBDCs are discussed, there's a lot of contention about allowing this to happen. A lot of people speaking out about it, how it takes away privacy and freedom, and it's very invasive, and it attracts all your spending, and it can be linked with digital identities, and you can the government can have a stronghold on every single person who defies anything that they say. They can turn very dystopian very quickly. So they need a crisis in order to get the buy-in from the public. This is, putting on tinfoil hat here, but this has happened with 9/11 and other things where, they were able to usher in the Patriot Act, which allowed, massive surveillance of American citizens, and people were more than happy to sign up for this thing and say, oh, yeah, this is against terrorism, when really it was about spying on you, right? And again, it was just more government enforcement, more control coming over you. And if you don't think they're going to do it again, you're kidding yourself, right? So if there's a big collapse and people are feeling it and the pain and suffering, it's the biggest collapse since the Great Depression. It's a perfect time for them to say, look, the existing monetary policy isn't working. We need something better. We need blockchain technology, central bank digital dollars, to repair and make a better monetary system going forward. And all you have to do to participate, and we know that you're hurting right now. We understand, we feel you, we want to make this better. all you have to do is download this app, scan your face, create your digital identity, and your wallet on our blockchain, that is very centralized, by the way, they're going to airdrop you stimulus, right? So someone who's hurting, doesn't know where they're going to get groceries, the rent, that all becomes resolved once you download the app. You happily, with open arms, accept central bank digital dollars, and boom, without any pushback, the public has bought in to one of the most dystopian things in the future. So I just want to paint the story from my perspective, what I think is happening. But it doesn't mean that if you're not watching, if you're not paying attention, you don't have to be amongst the people who are unprepared, right? We make this content so you can be prepared. And we are planning how to approach this bull market with extreme caution, precision, planning to make sure that we execute on it, we make maximum revenue, maximum profit, and we preserve as much wealth as we can for when that collapse does happen. We're not stuck looking for crumbs. We are thriving, guys. And that's my promise to you on this channel, is to bring you the best input, the best advice for us to prepare and plan for the times ahead. They're going to be crazy. They're going to be fun. They're going to be unpredictable. But together, guys, we can make sure that we're all protected. So if that sounds good to you guys, if you're not subscribed already, please do. Smash the like video. Smash the like if you like this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.